Good afternoon. I'm Tanya Easton. I'm principal here at the primary school of St. Martin's School in the south of Johannesburg. And this afternoon, we're going to be having a conversation about the ECD phase of our school. I was watching a video the other day of Mary Metcalf, and she was saying how the education department is really worried about how many young children are not coming to school. So it gave me an idea to chat to our ladies here at the primary school, who are all members of the ECD stroke junior phase of the school, and just to ask them their ideas and opinions on something that I think is really important, because I think a lot of the primary schools in our area and even in the north of Joburg are finding that the numbers in the ECD phase of the school is decreasing. And maybe we can just delve into why and why we think it is so important for children to attend this important and vital phase of their development. So maybe Darren, as you are in charge of our ECD phase here at St. Martin's School, could you maybe tell us why you think it is so important for a person or a parent to send their child to either grade 000 or grade 00 before sending them to grade 1?
Well, the reason why I think it's important is because, well, first of all, they're really blessed to have a brilliant ECD phase at our school. We're really very lucky to have a small classes. And it's really important that people realize that children, they develop so much from basically conception to 9 years old. So this is when we need to make the absolute most of nurturing every possibility they have, developing their emotional and social needs, their cognitive development. So it's really, really important that that's when the focus happens, because a lot of people tend to think that, it's not as important because the children are little, and they'll wait until their children are older and then focus more on their education. But this is when you've got their development in the palm of your hands. So this is when we should be making the absolute most of, what we can do with these children, how we can extend them, pick up any issues or and develop them as much as we can.
And, Jenny, you and I have chatted a lot of times about kids when we've heard parents say, not send them to earlier childhood centres because all they do is play. Could you maybe suggest a reason to a parent who's maybe thinking that as to why they should send their child to an ECD phase of any school?
I think we have to explain to parents that it's directed play. It's not just free play. There are sections in the day where the children do free play, and that's important for their development, for their imagination. But within the early childhood development phase, we are having directed play. So you'll have play that is aligned with science. We'll have play that's aligned with early maths. We'll have play that's aligned with basic literacy skills. So that's the difference. Not just putting some blocks in front of a child and letting them play. We have an objective for the play. And I think the day is also very routined, and that gives the child a sense of comfort and a sense of, the knowledge that they are safe. And when a child is safe, they can learn. So I think it's not haphazard. And I think that is what we are all about here. Nurturing environment, but we are focused on developing skills.
And can I just interject there that in terms of, the guided play, we've had parents before saying, well, why get a report, or why have parent consultation when they're only playing? But it's not just playing. It really is guided play and structured play, and play where you step back and watch how they interact, what the results are, how they handle situations where they maybe don't agree on what they're trying to achieve. it really is quite incredible what you can achieve through that guided play, and then intervene as and when one sees necessary as a teacher.
And Zanele, you teach grade 1. Obviously, the directed play is a little bit different to what Darren would do in the pre-primary. But when you do play with your grade 1s, do you see a benefit of it, or is there an advantage to a specific subject?
Oh, definitely. So exactly that, how they play is definitely different. But now with the grade 1s, it's quite more developed, and it's more, the games are more educational, which is you playing games, but at the same time, you're having fun. For instance, we would be doing where we do literacy. I mean, when we're building those words, they actually building words together and they learning the words. So it's not just putting words together, they sounding out the words, the way they read the words, knowing the words. So it is still play, but it's educational play. So they learn so much, and also while having fun.
I suppose it's like structured play through the phases. Okay. Yeah, which I think is very important, because as you said, I think Darren, play is important in all aspects. And I've seen, like, even when we do higher up in the senior primary phase, when kids have to like solve a challenge or even a maths problem, they you can see those that played when they were little and those that didn't really, if that makes any sense. And then Jen, Zanele touched on reading. How important is reading, not only in grade 1, but in the ECD phase? And when should parents start with reading?
Well, I think from birth, you are reading a story to your child, you are singing the nursery rhymes, you are giving them all the vocab. And if you just read 20 minutes a day, you are giving the child at least 1,000 words by the end of the year. So you are building on that vocab, that expressive language, that receptive language. So reading starts from a young age, and everybody in the family should read. Granny should read to the children. Daddy also has a part to play. Mommy, we've got friends. Children should see reading in a positive light. So they should see books in the home. They should listen to mom read a story aloud. It shouldn't just be reading related to schoolwork. It should be for enjoyment as well. So you need a rich reading environment at home, and it should be encouraged. Books should be gifts, and books should, be part of the household furniture.
And I think also if you engage with your child and they see how you handle a book, that also later on, also helps them with, in the classroom. This is how I handle a book. This is how I respect it. It teaches them all other skills.
And I also, sorry to interrupt, Tanya, but I think in terms of reading that book, even it takes a little bit of effort to make the time to sit with your child. It's special time to sit with them. It's just you and me time. And it's actually much easier just to put on the TV and you don't, but there's so much benefit. And even when your child is older and they can read themselves, that can be a special time daily. It doesn't have to be for long, but that you spend together as mom and child or dad and child and whoever. So it really creates a special bond and nurturing. It plays a huge role that we don't even think about.
Definitely. Yeah. And touching on what Jenny said about the vocab, I don't think learning or reading from a device is going to build on the vocab that a parent can give their child. And like you say, it's me time. It's our time. It's us time. And I think it's sad. I think a lot of our parents don't understand that how important the reading is from young.
Yeah, and then the conversations that can develop as a result, where you're sitting engaging in a book and you can branch off and discuss other things, or the children may come up with questions, that then you can elaborate on. So it really, there's huge value.
And pronunciation as well, how to pronounce those words. Yeah.
And in terms of pronunciation, you can see straight away who's read to and who spends more time in screen time, because I have to laugh sometimes at the at the cotton candy as opposed to candy floss, and the things that these children come up with because there's too much screen time.
Now, talking about screen time, how important do you ladies think digital learning is important in the ECD phase? Because, I mean, we have it here at our school. We don't specifically do the iPad drills that they do higher up, but I know there's B-bots and all of those. So, Nelly, how important I mean, you a mom yourself, so how important, or do you think it's important or not important?
It is important. I mean, I'm looking at how things have changed. The kids are all about TV, iPads. You don't want your child to sit on an iPad watching YouTube or other things. So instead, Reading X, those beautiful apps that you could do educational, it kind of attracts the kids because they love their phones already. So get them to get on their phones and do educational games. That is important. There's so much they learn in that. Mm-hmm. And also because, like I said, everyone is using devices. So if a child can play a game that's educational on their phones or iPads, why not? Instead of sitting and watching TV. I think that is definitely a thing that should be happening. And it adds so much. It helps the kids. It develops them just for the future because as we can see, things are changing. So it's good that they are doing that, and I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah, we see the benefit of it. And Darren, like lower down in the grades?
Yeah, so I think sadly that children are already very aware of technology and involved in it. And I do think that you can't not do it at school. You've got to get the balance right. So for me, you've got to introduce them to it and work with it where you can. We do PowerPoint presentations, so that is technology. But when they go to digital learning from grade double nought, they learn, basic skills, but they also get introduced to the early stages of coding with B-bots and that. But I really, really think is that we all need to work together, whether it be the school or the parents, to get the balance right with technology. It's very important. Don't get me wrong. I realize that out there the world is changing, but we've got to have a balance. And I think the biggest concern with technology is not like the children don't engage. It's actually unbelievable how they focus. If you just put something on, like during rainy day weather or something, they are absolutely mesmerized. They actually zone into a completely other. So you've got to get that balance right where they're engaging more with each other, with their parents. And that's where, going back to the play discussion, it's quite sad. I've noticed over the years that children don't really know how to play. They don't know how to construct. So, and sadly, I think it's related to just being put in front of TVs, and screen time. So it becomes quite a catch-22 because in a lot of ways, parents introduce them to that, and they provide it, and then one day when they're a bit older and they realize, they're spending too much, then they're trying to take it away. So one's got to get the balance right from young, so to see the good in it. And
I think you're right. Kids don't know how to play. They play, but not like we played, and I think being outside and climbing trees and falling out the tree and, learning from those experiences, I think. So I do believe that we do that here. I mean, the playground that we have for the ECD phase is phenomenal. Could you just tell us a little bit about the sensory garden? Because I don't spend much time in there, but it looks fascinating when the kids do go in there.
Yeah, we really are blessed to have our sensory garden. So when we go in there, they have to remove their shoes. They have to feel the textures with all their senses. So we've got different areas with different textures on their feet. We've got a beautiful fountain. We've got areas where there's, what would you call it, musical areas where they hear different sounds. So it really is amazing. And you can also see then when children go into those areas, when you take the sensory garden, and you can see like a lot of them have never really experienced those different textures. And then we've also got different smells, different plants that smell all different. So it is quite I think for some of them it's a huge sensory overload, but they've become more used to it and learned how to interact with each other in that sensory space. So it has been a good addition to our playground.
Definitely.
Tanya, I just want to get back to the devices and that. We do help our parents navigate that issue of devices and balance. We often have workshops where we call in experts and the parents get to hear the stats that are out there, and we teach them, or we offer this information to them so they can make wise choices for their children. And I think that's part of our responsibility as a school, to educate our parents as well.
No, definitely. I think so. And I think we do that quite well here. On that note, Jenny, talking about parents and that, how important do you think it is for a parent to be involved? Okay, we know it is, but especially down in the ECD phase?
I think it's vital. They need to be supervising homework. Even if they have somebody else, aftercare or a tutor, it is their ultimate responsibility to see how their child is doing and also to give us the feedback. The children are so excited to hear that their parents have attended a meeting. If you speak to them the next day, did my mom come? Did my dad come? The children want their parents to be involved. And we want the parents to be involved. And we give many opportunities for involvement of parents into our school.
And I think you only realize it as an older parent that, first of all, that time with your children flashes by in an instant. And also you setting an example for your children of how to, your commitment to whether it be your job, your friendships, your whatever. So you're teaching them that from a young age without even realizing it. So if you think, I'm not going to bother to check the homework, or I'm not going to bother to go to that meeting, you're instilling that into your child, So you need to make the most of it when they're little, to go the extra mile, because that will result in them giving of their best.
And with that as well, I would just add that we need to be a team. If I'm working from school, mom needs to work, because then if she notices or he notices issues at home, we can help each other. We can all, if I see something's happening and I tell mom can also try and help. So if mom is not involved or parents are not involved, somebody else needs to be involved so we can help the child. If there's stuff that we find with the child, we can help if we can see from both ends. So it is very important.
It's definitely a triangle.
Triangle, them, us, and their child. No, definitely. So now, obviously, we've discussed like what's important in that. So I'm going to put you all ladies on the spot. What sets us apart at St. Martin's in terms of other ECD centres? What would you say? What would be our draw card to tell parents, no, that they have to bring their children here because?
I'll start. I'll start. I think this is a home away from home. This is a place where you actually feel you are home because of the teachers, the children. I've been to different schools, and the love that you receive here will make you want to be here. So it is definitely that this is a home away from home. It's a place to be. Okay. I wouldn't change.
I must say, I agree with you. And, you do think, like maybe you're just imagining it. But what is awesome is when people come here and they go, there's such a wonderful feeling here. So I can honestly say it is a happy place, and you can't, I don't think you can pretend that. You've got to live something like that. So you've got to come to experience it. And once the children are here, we are one big happy family. And in saying that, we've got to work as a triangle with the parents. I really do think that if they can't work in the triangle here, they haven't got much chance elsewhere, because it really is a nurturing, happy environment where we want the children to succeed, and we will all go the extra mile for them.
And go out of our way for those kids that need a little bit of extra love and care.
And I think our smaller classes, the teacher has the ability to get to know the children, and not just their academics, their interests, their about their family. We know our children really well, so we can support them in their learning journey. I think that is key.
So, like our motto says, every child is known, and definitely. So Jen, is there anything you could add to this conversation that we've had this afternoon that maybe I haven't asked?
I would just like to encourage parents to communicate. Communicate with your child's teacher, communicate with the school, let us know if you're going away, let the teacher know if somebody is ill in the family. It has repercussions in the classroom, and open yourself up to inviting the teacher into your world. I think the child benefits in the end, and we can support you on the journey.
I actually saw something the other day, I don't know where it was, but we don't necessarily need to know all the ins and outs, but just a little message that says TLC, that today my child, like whatever's happened at home or whatever, it's not like we need to know, but just to make the teacher aware that just had special note today. Yeah.
Darren, anything else?
No, but what just came to mind is in our morning meetings, you will often say, oh, please just keep an eye out for so-and-so, they're not having a good day. So that does really happen here. It's not like we're just talking about it. It really does happen.
Wow. Tanile?
No, nothing at all. But exactly what we've said is all true. This is the right place to come because what you see is what you get.
Definitely. Yeah.